Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Isekai D&D Vengeful Dawn, Episode 9. Sadly, the audio of the last episode was so bad that I have to literally come over here and summarize what went on in the episode. So I do apologize in advance. Please go ahead and check out the links down in the description. And I do have a Patreon link if you do want to support the Isekai D&D the Vengeful Dawn project. It is great. I love it so much. It is literally like one of my favorite things that I have ever done. And it is a story that I appreciate telling to the people week by week, even though half the time the people that are watching cannot hear it. This is the second episode now. This time the audio is completely fucked with no resurrection of editing magic. So, for further ado, I'm going to get into summarizing what happened. So I hope you're ready. So, as you guys remember at the end of last episode, they were in the cave ready to fight for their lives against Laurel Cremome. She was there prepared to kill. She made some comments about seeing Pleb in the bath in his small wee wee, which pissed Pleb off so much. But they went to battle, and big thing happened. Matches came out of nowhere, being the unsung hero here in this fight, coming with his muscles and going like, yeah, and grabs a hold of this large creature and then suplexes them down, making them able to fight. But one of the team members, the crew members, just went up and fought this woman. So they fought and fought and fought, and finally, who, as she was squirming, barely any life, Althea took her whip around her neck, and she pulled, severing the neck off of it. Beforehand, somebody did shove alcohol down her mouth without permission, but what happened? Her head went flying, fell in front of Pleb. She looked up, and the alcohol just gushed out of her mouth with blood. Yep, that's how they killed her. Probably took them about like 20, 30 minutes at max to do the fight. It was a easy one-sided fight after they got her locked down. But next, they went up to the town and saw everybody recuperating and recovering. Oh yeah, and the place caught on fire. Big deal. The tomb that they were in caught on fire. They had the choice of saving the mayor or Ronaldo. They saved Ronaldo and ran back to the town. They went there. Althea tried to mention the mayor dying, and nobody heard. And again, and later Althea mentions it, and then people went like, "Ah, oh, we don't care." But everybody was around each other. Shepard regained consciousness again, and talked to everybody. And went like, "Hey guys, I think it's best that we go to the coastal town so I can build the ship out there. Get a bit away from here." Which which Shepard also mentioned that Gelato had a child there, who lives at that town. And this sparked interest in the gang, most likely Althea, to go and try to convince Gelato to come. Gelato was, no, family matters, but and I can't see her. She's not following the family business. So at this time, Shepard heard Mr. Sharpbeak, I think she called him. I'm gonna have to ask her again what she called her dinosaur. Cornelius, their Triceratops, and the cat turtle that I mentioned that is driving their their carriage, just meowed at them. I think it's a very racist, this cat turtle, but it does its job. And they get to the town, they settle in, and they try to find an inn. There was a dirty mama's inn that they found with an old, dirty, elvish woman with a mole the size of Jupiter on her cheek and three hairs coming out of it, and then facial hair and a unibrow. Oh, that Nobody wanted Pleb was excited to see her, and then they walked in and they saw a Grice, which in this world is a four-eared rat mouse looking thing, and instead of the three-eared, it has two tails, and it's basically like a 6-inch diabolical monster that walks up and gets on the table and goes like, "Y'all either getting out of here, or I'm giving y'all diseases." Is it AIDS, and they promptly left. Other than Pleb, who stayed behind flirting with Dirty Mama, who told him to get out unless his friends were staying. So the crew left that place. They didn't went down the uh, red light district where they found all sorts of unique specimens and windows without barely closed. Well, there are women in this window, women in that window, husbandos in that window, even sirens in one window. We're talking about the kind of trick ya and eat ya, so be warned. But they got to the end, and there was a man with red lights who was a stripper, four arms, and Althea was curious because there was red lights. She threw a Lorians at him, and he started twerking towards her, and she was freaked out. Althea was raised, he's very religious, so she was very sheltered from this stuff. And yeah, so we're gonna continue. They left Althea and Matches left out of the alley. Pleb and Drex were stopped by a bird woman who wanted to knew who Pleb and Drex were due to the fact of knowledge she had from, I'm believing, Arkinspire and being part of the Rot. Telling Pleb and Drex that there's an army coming after them, as well as an assassin. The assassin's coming first, but nobody knew about the army coming, as no side stories followed it. So they're like, "Oh yeah, we should tell people. We'll wait and see. No, we should tell." So they go try to tell Althea and Matches, and then we cut back to Althea and Matches, who buys peculiar drugs from our great salesman Drew and Drew. These drugs just so happen to make somebody's uh, productivity 20, 40 times, basically. And they were going to offer it to Shepard. Shepard looks at it and goes like, "Hey," I believe Pleb went like, "Hey, we got some candy for you." And Shepard, being the sweet tooth fiend that he is, grabbed that bag of candy and rushed those pills down his throat as quickly as possible, which literally, in matters of minutes, gave him enough energy to finish building the ship with like enough energy and motivation, and also severely damaged his body because he exerted himself way too much. And they had to quickly find a doctor. Before they found a doctor, before they even got here, I forgot to mention, and they were looking for a navigator. There was one, Captain Nemo. He wrote in his Nautilus 2 saying it could go 20,000 leagues below the sea. Nobody believed him, but his vessel did go down. And the only other person that they could get as a navigator was a woman of the streets named Sally Stripper. And Sally, he wanted to be a navigator. You could see it in her eyes when they asked, and she changed from one random woman of the streets it's there to a full-blown wanting to be a navigator. So they went to Shepard, and the candy thing happened. Shepard's now catatonic. Sally Stripper tells them the only doctors are on, guess who? Elise, who is Delato's daughter, her ship, because they take all the doctors to make sure that they can have proper medical teams for whoever gets injured fighting the creatures of the water that are trying to go to the mainland and eat whatever creatures will lie there. And also making sure safe passage for ships. So they quickly rush out to sea, going north, and then, at a moment's notice, As they're sailing out, they're like a few hours out, they're stabilizing Shepard. Drex is flying around the ship and notices a woman, let's see, seeming purely naked. She has a weird smile on her face. She is head out of the water, a bit of chest revealed. It's like the water is just covering her nipples, and she's smiling. You can hear an Epic the Musical song play at this point, as six heads of a snake-like creature come out of the water and start devouring the ship, destroying the ship. One takes a big chunk out of Drex, and the other one throws up into the water a bit, and boom. The crew wakes up on an island filled with creatures that look like Ewoks mixed with Pikmin. And they advise that the only food on this island is fish and a fruit. This fruit looking like it looks like a pear with like the same lotus flower here that is on the top of these creatures' heads. Drex gets hauled off into the hospital. He eats one of these, and all his injuries are suddenly healed. And then we cut back to the crew. So the only person that decides to eat it is Matches at this time. And Matches also feels energized, and all the injuries are gone on their body. And the other two who did not eat the fruit are placed into cages, along with the Sally Stripper who was in the cage before. But they get brought to the main part of the village where everybody's dancing around a fire once the sun is setting. The cage is set at the opening of a luscious cave. And like when the sun sets, everybody goes off away from this cave, and then a musical person comes out of the cave. Very tall Cyclops, singing, "I came to eat, looking forward to my feast." And that's where the episode cut, when he started reaching his hand into the cage. And that is where this episode ended. I know this is going to be short as all hell. But hey, please leave a like and comment down below. I just wanted to make sure to give you the fastest summary of what happened and what's going to be going on into the next episode. But because we had some fun, we had some laughs. If you guys want, I'll post down the unedited episode of No Sound down below. But this is going to probably go up immediately after episode 8, because I just got done editing that audio with the hell and back. And just realizing that I'm literally recording this the same day as when I found out the audio's broke. So on this episode as well, that's unrecoverable. So yeah, please make sure to like, subscribe, and know that I got this audio issue fixed, and I cannot wait, because this has affected three episodes of my D&D, 2 isekais, and one piece D&D finale that I am frustrated about. Thank you guys so much. I do hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much, and why aren't you watching? Bye-bye. Midas was a cultural colossus, a rapper whose name bent charts and whose empire stretched from streetwear to stadiums. But behind the platinum records lay darker beats. He was surrounded by rumors of abuse, manipulation, exploitation, allegations whispered by silenced voices. Women coerced, artists crushed, and power corrupted. For years, he dodged consequences through clever lawyers and deeper pockets. But what sealed his fate was a recording, an unfiltered, brutal video of him murdering a man in a hotel penthouse during a drug-fueled, paranoid frenzy. The world watched in horror as his gilded empire crumbled. Midas was sentenced to death for the murder, with charges of SA and coercion, accompanying him like echoes in the courtroom. On the other hand, Serena was a tennis legend, graceful, brilliant, and adored. But wealth and praise weren't enough. She needed control. In secret, she gambled on herself, fixing matches with underground syndicates to inflate her fortune. Her final match, the championship finale, she deliberately threw for a massive payout, but an internal link exposed the conspiracy. Arrested after the match, still wearing her sponsor's smile, she was sentenced to life in prison for match fixing and fraud. They were both gods in their own realms, now criminals confined to earthly cages. In the sterile silence of his death row cell, Midas received his final meal: a goose steak, truffle potatoes, gold dusted macaroons, and aged wine. But nestled beneath the silverware was a leather-bound book, aged and humming with power. It read Vengeful Dawn. A voice in his mind whispered promises of rebirth. As he chewed his last bite, Midas opened the book. Light spilled out, and his soul was torn from his body, cast into the cosmic dark. Far across the country, in a cold prison cell, Serena had been alone for months. Broken fans, cancelled endorsements. The world moved on. Then one night, a book appeared in her cell. She read Vengeful Dawn. She clutched it tightly and opened it with trembling fingers. Her soul was pulled from this world. Drifting in the star-streaked void of the astral plane, the two souls converged before a massive figure. Aloria, a being of infant death, greeted them. Their forms shimmered between celestial elegance and eerie detachment. Their voice echoed in layered tones, ancient and new. Criminals lost. You were plucked from judgment, not to be forgiven, but to serve. Gloria floated between them, fingers trailing the starlight. This world needs decision. The old gods hold fast, the new gods claw forward, and the fallen gods must be slain. You'll meet with them all. Choose who remains. I do apologize. I'm trying this rhyming thing. It's a ridiculous big deal. I'm sorry. Basically, I'm gonna give you powers. You choose either new gods, old gods survive and kill the fallen gods. So you guys will have fun. With a swirl of arcane spirit script, Aloria pressed runes into their chests. The Bard rune flared on Midas. The Rogue rune marked Serena. Their souls spiraled downward toward bodies that awaited. Stone cracked underfoot as their souls entered flesh. Midas awoke first, lean, dark-skinned, and lithe. His reflection revealed a drow with sharp silver eyes. His voice had changed to deep and strange. Serena rose next. She gasped at her body, her signature curves still intact, but now blue-hued. Horns curved back from her brow. A tiefling. Clothing lay nearby. Weapons rested against a broken altar. They dressed, looked into the cracked mirror, and saw what the world had turned. Then came the pull of teleportation. Their bodies wrenched from the temple. They landed on the sand of a familiar shoreline. Lush, vibrant, blooming with strange beauty. Midas stood first. Serena stumbled. She turned to him uncertain. He stepped closer. His eyes darkened. No words, just action. Midas surged forward, pinning her down, weight crushing her. Whispers twisted and wrong. We fade to black. We returned to silence. Serena lay on the ground, eyes wide with betrayal and tears. Her lips moved, but no words came. Her body, unanchored by the lost rune, clothes torn. Her clothes torn, her body unanchored by the lost rune, began to crack and ash, fading like dust on the wind. The rogue rune floated above her. Midas stood, panting. His fingers twitched toward the light. Mine now. Got it. A rune fused into his chest, interlocking with the Bard rune, now burning with dual power. Bard, rogue, wordsmith, shadow. Then, a distant explosion. A ship in the distance, far off distance, seems to be attacked by some sort of serpent-type monster. Midas turned, vanished into the foliage. The trees gave way to a cave, and in it, a cyclops, vast and monstrous, with a club made of driftwood and bone. Midas stepped into the shadows, trying to remain unseen. But the cyclops turned, sniffed the air. Ooh, in a roaring voice. In a panic, Midas began to rap rhythmic, clever, hypnotic bars about exile and death and broken empires. The Cyclops paused. Music? It murmured, blinking. The beast sat and listened. Midas survived. The sky burned orange as night descended. The Cyclops stood. His deep voice boomed across the rocks. He sung, "It's time to eat. Where is my feast?" He turned toward a cage tucked behind the cave, dragging it into the firelight. Inside were three figures, rubbed like Venomfin, with defiant eyes. Althea Ray Alk, a Solomon Shatterkai with bruises and shackles. Sally Stripper, a mousefolk woman dressed scandalously, but her cellular tattoos visible beneath her fur. They stirred. The Cyclops reached forward. We fade to black.